So we are going to discuss about the seventh house, the seventh cusp, and particularly today we shall be discussing the event of marriage. That is why I am talking about the seventh house. Murthy ji told that he has already discussed in details about the seventh cusp and all the significations of the seventh cusp with you in details. But anyhow, in general, if we look at the seventh house, the seventh cusp, now the seventh cusp, it deals with what? Partners and associates. It deals with your marriage. It deals with private business. It deals with break in journey. It deals with marriage, particularly the topic which we are going to discuss today, and of course, divorce. So, in general, you would say that the seventh house is a house of union, the house of partners, the house of associates, or you say it is the house of marriage. Now, if we particularly look into the event of marriage, then the main cusps that play a role as far as the event of marriage is concerned, they are 5, 7, and 11. Now, the fifth house is a house of magnetic attractions, is you can say a house that gives a social acceptance to the courtship, or you say is a house that deals with the romantic affairs, and of course, a house that deals with the progeny. Seventh, I have already pointed out. Then the 11th house is the fulfillment of the promise that we have for a particular event. Say we are talking about business, then it is the fulfillment of the event of business. If we are talking about marriage, it is the fulfillment of the event of marriage. And if we are talking about some kind of a private business, or we are talking about some kind of a trade, then it is the promise. So basically, the 11th house, which we say is a house of fulfillment of desires, is a house of fulfillment of the promise of an event, right?
Okay, sir.
Now then, the 12th house. Up 12th house में lot many people have different opinion about this house. In generally we know that it's a house of losses. But at the same time, when we talk about the marriage, we say is a house of bad players. If we talk about the marriage, we say is a house of expenditure. House of expenditure. That how much amount has to be spent upon the marriage. So, but generally speaking, this particular house always refers to the house of losses, right? So, if we have the now, if we are asked that what is the promise of a marriage, how do we know whether a marriage is promised or not? The very first point, which is an important one, is that for 99.9% cases, marriage is an event that is likely to happen. So for the every chart, now this is very, very important. For the every chart that you are really looking into, you have to you have to see it very thoroughly, because it's such an event that happens for 99.9% cases. There is hardly 0.1% cases where a marriage does not happen, and a person may remain unmarried throughout his life, or a person may turn sannyasi. So, when you analyze the prospects of a marriage, then how do we know what is the promise of a marriage? To look at the promise of a marriage, the important point is, the first point, that we have to look at the ascendant sub-sublord. The second is we have to look at the seventh sub-sublord. And third, we have to look at the 11th sub-sublord. Now, if the ascendant sub-sublord, the seventh sub-sublord, and the 11th sub-sublord, they all link to the fifth, seventh, and 11th cusp, either through their star lords or through their sublords, and finally they are confirmed by the sub-sublord, then we say it is such an event that is likely to happen. Now, at the same time, sometimes there is a delay in the marriage. Now, what are the reasons why a particular marriage has to be delayed? Why a native is not getting married in a particular dasha, or in a particular bhukti, or in a particular antra, or sukshma or prana? Now, for such cases, if the fifth, seventh, and 11th, say for example, if we are talking about the delayed marriage, then in such cases, the fifth, any star lord or the sub lord is giving us a promise through fifth or seventh or 11th cuspal positions, and at the same time we are getting 4, 6, 10, and 12. Then in such cases, there is marriage is not denied, but the marriage is delayed. What do I mean to say is that if along with the favorable cusps, which are 5, 7, and 11, we are getting unfavorable cusps, which is 4, 6, 10, 12. Of course, 2 is also one of the cusps. Then in such cases, the marriage is delayed. Then under what conditions, a marriage is denied? How do we know a particular marriage is denied? Then for such charts where either through star lord or through sub lord we are not getting a promise through the appearance of 5th, 7th, and 11th, through 5, 7, and 11, we are not getting 5, 7, and 11 through the star lord or through the sub lord, but instead of these, we are getting linkages like 4, 6, 10, 12. Then in such cases, if the star lord or the sub lord that is not linked to 5th, 7th, and 11th, but in fact it is linked to 4, 6, 10, 8. 8 to is not a bad house, I would say, for the marriage, is not an unfavorable house for the marriage, because 8th house would mean the dowry which a native is likely to get. So, in order to know whether the event of marriage is to happen or not, what we do is we first of all analyze the ascendant sub-sublord. If the ascendant sub-sublord through its star lord or through its sub-lord is linked to 7 and 5, 5 and 7, 7 and 11, right? 5, 7, and 11. Then in such cases, we say there is a strong promise for the marriage. Now, when we are looking into the promise for marriage, what is important? That the seventh cusp has to involve or it has to commit. Means either there is a direct linkage or there is an indirect linkage. Only then, if no seventh cusp is involved, you are having an involvement of 5 and commitment by 11, or you are having an involvement of 11 and commitment by 5, and there is no 7 appearing in the involvement and commitment level, that is no for 7 appearing at the star lord or sub lord level, then in such cases we say that such a planet that you have is very, very weak to enact the event of marriage. Right? Is it clear, please? So we have promise of marriage.
Yes,
That
sir.
promise of marriage is to be read by the ascendant sub-sublord, 7 sub-sublord, and 11 sub-sublord. And all these 3 sub-sublords should establish linkages with the 5th cusp, 7th cusp, and the 11th cusp. The 7th cusp is the primary cusp, and the 5th and 11th cusp, they are the supporting cusp. So the appearance of 7th cusp in the promise, either through involvement or through commitment, is a must for any planet to be good enough to give the event of marriage. Is it clear, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, sometimes you find that there are cases when a person has an early marriage. In some cases, it's a delayed marriage. In some cases, it's a late marriage. Now, how do we know? Now, the first important point, though the cuspal interlink theory never talks about the conjunctions, never talks about the aspects, never talks about the punarfuyo, but at the same time, it's on my experience, on the basis of my experience, what I've gathered so far is that whenever Saturn is the star lord or the sublord or the sub-sublord of Moon, or one case that whenever Saturn, that is a star lord, or it is, or you can say that Moon is in the star of Saturn, or Moon is in the sub of Saturn, or Moon is in the sub of Saturn, then in such cases the marriage is delayed, it's a late marriage, and usually in such cases the marriage does happen, but only after 30 years of age. 30 years of age. Then on the contrary also, the delayed marriage or the early marriage can be classified on the basis of the cuspal linkages. If you have only the linkages of 5, 7 and 11, without the linkages 4, 6, 10, 8, 2 and 12, then in such cases, the marriage is an early marriage and a native gets married during the age of say 20, 22, 23. Now at the same time, while we are analyzing the chart for a marriage, then we have also to look into the fact that the person belongs to which class, the person belongs to which place, and what are the customs for a particular place, whether there is an early marriage or there is a delayed marriage. And if along with the linkages 5, 7 and 11, 4, 6, 10 and 12 are there, we say it's a late marriage, and such marriage usually happens in a age of around say 26 to 30 years. And if there is a Punarpu Yog, that is all what I was talking about, which in Vedic, people say it's a Vish Yog. That is, the moon is in the star of Saturn, or the moon is in the sub of Saturn, or the moon is in the sub of Saturn. Then in such cases, for girls, the marriage usually happens after 28 years of age, and for boys, it is after 30, 31 years of age. Right? Is it clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, apart from the normal marital relations, sometimes you have people have extramarital relations, right? And for the purpose of extramarital relations, now what is very very important? The first important point is that the ascendant sub-sublord should link with the ninth cusp. Now, it is one of the necessary conditions. Ninth cusp is third to the seventh, and any cusp third to any cusp that is third to any cusp, say ninth is third to seventh, it means multiplicity. So if the ascendant sub-sublord is somehow linked to ninth, then we can say that there are extramarital relations which are likely to happen. But suppose in certain cases, rather you can say in many cases, I have seen that even when there is a linkage of 9, then a person does not have these kind of, say, there is no confirmation as regards to that if ascendant sub-sublord is linked to 7th, linked to ninth, then the person is likely to have extramarital relations. He may or he may not have. Okay, but this is one of the necessary and the essential conditions, because the ninth cuspal position is very, very important as far as the second marriage is concerned. Then, if the seventh sub-sublord is also linked to ninth, because this is also one of the essential conditions, you can say that there is probability, but you cannot confirm that definitely the person is likely to have an extramarital affair. There is possibility that such a man may be inclined to these kind of acts. And then then apart from this, in such cases, we have also to look at the third sub-sublord, because the third sub-sublord tells us about what? It tells us about the boldness. It tells us about the courage. It tells us about the confidence to involve in such affairs. So we are also to look at the seventh cuspal subsublot. I'm sorry, the third cuspal subsublot, and apart from this, the fifth cuspal subsublot. Now, if the fifth cuspal subsublot is linked to ninth and 12th, then you can say with, I won't say 100% certainty, but you can say that such a person is inclined or bent towards the extramarital affairs. So the linkage of 7 is important one as far as second marriage is concerned. Linkage of 7 to 9, linkage of ascendant to 9, linkage of say third cusp to the ninth cusp, because third cusp does tell us about the boldness, about the courage, about the confidence of such a native. And at the same time, the important way to check it out is the fifth cuspal subsublot. If it is linked to ninth as well as 12th, then you can say with some certainty that is there is definitely such a native is inclined towards extramarital affairs. Now, how do we know marriage, when marriage is going to happen? For this purpose, we will always have to look into the, first of all, we have to assess the strength of the planets, that which among the 9 planets are capable of giving the event of marriage. And this is checked through the promised and final confirmation. Promise through the star lord and sublord, whereas the final confirmation through the sub-sublord. So the potential of every planet has to be checked. That is one part which is important. Now the second important point is that a marriage can happen only when there is a suitable dasha, suitable bhukti, suitable antara, and of course sukshma and prana. See, nowadays, as it has already been passed in the the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, that marriage cannot happen before the age of 20 years. So thereby, whenever we have to check a chart, we will always add 20 years to the date of birth and then we'll check it. But there are certain places in India where marriage does happen at the age of 16 or 17 years. Though people have become aware of not marrying their children at the age of 17, 18 years, but yet this system is still going on. So depending upon the place, depending upon the custom, depending upon the rituals, we have also to look into that part, that if it can really happen at an early stage, or if it is a delayed marriage, or if it is a late marriage. Now, I shall be taking today. I shall be taking a horary chart, where I have already posted it. That where a lady has asked a question regarding her daughter, that when she'll be married. Now, should I share the chart?
Sir.
So before
Okay, sir.
before
Okay.
sharing the chart, if you have any questions to ask, please ask me. Any questions, please? Any
Sir,
questions?
how will we check for a happy married life, sir?
Happy married life, if you have now, for happy married life, if you have only the linkages of 5, 7, and 11, right, is a happy married life. Now you see that there are
Without unfavorable cusp. Okay.
without unfavorable cusp. Now there are
Okay, sir.
two type of events. One is lagna based events, and other is material based events. Now lagna based events, the favorable cusp for any lagna based event, they are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So marriage, if we are to check the event of marriage, we have to look at the 7th sub-sublord, we have to look at the ascendant sub-sublord, we have to look at the 11th sub-sublord, right? We have to look
Okay,
at
sir.
the 5th sub-sublord. So it means it's a lagna based
Chintan
event,
net వచ్చిందా?
right? It's a lagna based event. So for a lagna based event, these are all favorable cusp. If there is a promise through 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 11th, and there is no unfavorable cusp appearing, then you can say it's a happy married life. Now,
Okay, sir.
if besides these, you are having 6th, or you are having 10th, or you are having 8th, or you are having all material based houses are there, then you say there. Say, there is a echo in this. There is some kind of echo, किसी ने On किया है क्या? Has somebody switched on the speaker? Yeah, is it now? This is okay. This is okay. Okay now. Now, what I was telling was that if you have the third, 5, 7, 9, 11, these cuspal positions appearing. So 5, 7, 11 are there along with 3 and 9. You say is a happy married life. 1 means the involvement of native. 7 means the involvement of the partner. And all these cusps, they are favorable cusps. So you say it's a happy married life. Now, if on the contrary, along with 5, 7, and 11, you have 2. 2 mean what? Second house means what? Second house is 8 to the 7th. 8 to the 7th is 100% bad cuspal position. You say that marriage is there is no denial, but there are certain obstacles, there are certain impediments, there are certain issues between the husband and wife. And since the second cusp is involved, you say that the issue can be related. Some monetary problem can be there between the husband and the wife, or something related to it. Second is related to family, or some family interference is there. So there are certain impediments which may be associated. So involvement of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 along with 5, 7, and 11 would mean that the married life is not a very smooth life. There are to be certain hurdles, there are to be certain problems, there are to be certain fights between the husband and wife, and the reason for such fights that may vary from chart to chart. It would depend upon which cuspal position you know is predominantly appearing in the chart. Say, for example, if fourth cuspal position is predominantly being indicated, it means there is some kind of interference by the mother-in-law or by the mother of the native. And if 10th position is there, you say is an interference by mother-in-law, and so on and so forth. You can make an assessment looking at the various cuspal positions you're likely to have. Any more questions, please? Any more
No.
questions?
No, sir.
Now, should I share the chart?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, can everybody see the chart?
No, sir.
No,
Not
is it
visible.
not? Not visible.
Not visible, sir. No, sir.
Not visible. Okay, but it is on my screen. So this is through the preset. Is it okay now? Not yet?
No, sir. No, sir. Not it, sir. Not it, sir.
Okay, okay. Now, okay.
No, sir. Not visible, sir.
So how to do it? Let me know how to do it. I have. It is from the presets. Okay, I'll just cancel it out.
భాస్కర్రావు గారు మైక్ ఆపండి.
Preset is here, and then it is your entire screen, and then it is share the chart. Share the chart. Now, has it appeared?
No, sir. No, sir.
Not yet.
No, sir. No, sir. Not it.
Sir, after selecting the entire screen, you hit click on that, sir. It would automatically display the chart.
This is preset now. I have to. Which tab I have to switch on? Preset.
Yeah, you select the entire screen.
Preset, and then what I need to do, a window or a tab?
No, share. There will be a button called share.
Share yahan nahi aaya na. Share is not appearing here. There are on the presentation. This is presentation. I get your entire screen is one
entire
tab.
screen,
Your
sir,
entire
entire
screen.
screen total करो sir आप.
Entire screen.
हाँ.
Sir, entire screen has to be selected, sir.
Entire screen has to be selected. Yes, I
Yes,
have
sir.
done it. I have done it. And now, should I open the chart?
Yes, sir.
नहीं, अगर entire screen select किया तो we will automatically display. It should automatically display sir. आ ही नहीं रहा आपका.
आज हो नहीं रहा, डिस्प्ले नहीं हो रहा चार्ट. आई एम डूइंग इट अगेन एंड अगेन, इट्स नॉट अपीयरिंग. शेयर.
So you should open the file first.
नाउ इज इट ओके?
नहीं sir.
अभी भी नहीं. वेरी स्ट्रेंज. बट इट इज showing.
Open the file first.
Sir, now you can open the chart, sir.
Sure, okay, I'll do it. I'll share. Now, is it okay?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Now,
Okay,
is
okay.
it visible? Oh, now I got
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir.
I was doing a mistake. The share button was not showing up, so I was just clicking on it and I was not getting it. Now
Okay,
this
sir.
is
Okay.
okay. Now fine.
Right,
So
sir.
this
Right,
is
sir.
sorry. Now this is today's chart. So the query was by the mother, right? And she wanted to know. She wanted to know about the marriage. That when the marriage is likely to happen. Okay. Is it clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. Now the query was by the mother to know that when her daughter is going to get married. First of all, we have to check that whether the query is genuine or not. To see the genuinity of this, moon is already in 11th cusp. Okay, then moon is in 11th cusp, and at the same time, if you look at moon, you know, moon is co-ruler of 5th cusp, co-ruler of 11th cusp, and the star lord of moon is Rahu. Rahu represents Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter, you know, Rahu is there in 5th cusp. Rahu itself is sub-lord of 5th cusp. So this query is very, very genuine because the lady wanted to inquire about the marriage of her daughter. Is it fine, please? So the chart is genuine. And
Sir,
now since the
sir,
query, yes, sir, yes, sir.
only one simple.
Murthy ji.
Yes, sir. Yes, Murthy speaking, sir.
हाँ जी, Murthy ji.
Genuineness of the chart should be checked after rotating the chart, I think.
No, that will do it later on. First of all, since the mother has put up a query.
It indicates the nature of the mother.
That is what I am telling. So since the mother, she has put up a query. Now instead I use the word genuine, I should not have used the word genuine. Since she has put up a query, thereby we have to look that whatever she is asking, whether it really, you know, it tallies with what she wants to ask. Okay.
Yes.
So since moon is there in 11th, moon is cuspal, you know, co-ruler of 5th cusp. Cuspal co-ruler of 11th cusp. So
Yes.
since it's related to 5th cusp means her question is genuine, and
Yes.
she is asking the question regarding her daughter, right? Regarding her child. So now we have to rotate it through the 5th. Okay. We rotate the chart through 5th, and then we would like to study this chart. Okay. Now here we need to see the ascendant sub-sublord. We need to read the ascendant sub-sublord, the 5th sub-sublord, the 7th sub-sublord and the 11th sub-sublord. So the ascendant sub-sublord is Rahu, the 7th sub-sublord is Jupiter, and the 11th sub-sublord is Sun. Right? Now,
Sir.
if you study Rahu, then Rahu is in the star of Saturn, is in the sub of Sun. So we need to check whether it promises marriage or not. Now Saturn, is not in 5th, but it is present in 7th. It is not in 11th. Okay. Rahu through Saturn is giving us 7th house, and Rahu through Sun is giving us 11th. So 7, involvement of 7, commitment by 11 shows a marriage through the ascendant sub-sublord. Right? And then finally, Rahu, gives the final confirmation, and Rahu represents Jupiter and Saturn. Right? Jupiter is sub-sublord of 5th. Is it clear, please? So Rahu gives a promise for marriage. The ascendant sub-sublord is linked to 5th, linked to 7th, linked to 11th cusp, gives a promise for marriage. Now, if
Sir,
we,
excuse me.
yeah,
We are seeing so many cursors. Is it your problem or our problem, sir?
no, it must be your problem. Here it is very
Yes,
clear.
yes, sir. No, sir. On my screen also, many of the cursors are visible, sir.
Many
At different
cursors are
points,
appearing.
at a single point of time.
Okay. Let me see that if there is some problem with me. No, it is not. It is absolutely fine here.
We
Now
are
still
not
you are
at
seeing.
all focusing any single planet because of that.
Then where is the problem?
Okay, carry on, sir. I think it is your screensaver which is showing
No.
as.
Maybe. Should I remove the screensaver? Maybe that's the reason. That so many cursors are there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason. I think I should have removed that. Should I remove or should I carry on?
I think we can carry
Carry
on.
on, sir. It's problem
Okay.
is solved, I think.
Oh, okay. So Rahu is giving us a promise for marriage. Now let us study the 7th cuspal sub-sublord. The 7th cuspal sub-sublord is Jupiter. Jupiter is posted in 3rd house. Jupiter is posted in 3rd house. Okay. And Jupiter has a PS. Jupiter is in Jupiter star, and Jupiter is giving us 3. Jupiter is giving us 7. And then Jupiter is placed in Mercury sub. And if you look at Mercury is giving us 11. And then Jupiter is also promising marriage. Then it is Mars. So here, in fact, when we look at the ascendant sub-sublord and the 7th sub-sublord and the 11th sub-sublord, we simply look into the promise that is to be given for marriage. If promise is there, it is okay. Nothing wrong with it. 7th sub-sublord we have to study in details. Is it clear, please? 7th cuspal sub-sublord we have to study in details. If for ascendant, for 7th cuspal sub-sublord and 11th cuspal sub-sublord, we are getting a promise, it means that these sub-sublords are giving the promise for marriage. Then finally, you may or you may not look into the final confirmation through the various sub-sublords of these planets. But anyhow, in this case, all the sub-sublords, they are favoring the event of marriage. Similarly, you look at Sun. Sun, is positive in 7. It has no PS. It is placed in Rahu star. Rahu is Jupiter and Saturn, and Jupiter is giving us 5 and 7. Ketu is Mercury and Moon. Mercury is giving us 11. Moon is giving us 7. So these all confirm to that all the ascendant sub-sublord, the 7th sub-sublord and the 11th sub-sublord are giving a strong promise for the marriage. Right? Is it clear, please? Any questions? I think there is hardly any question out of this. Now, do you want to ask any questions? Now, when this event of marriage is likely to happen? In order to calculate that when this event is to fructify, we shall put up the date of 27/2/2006 over here, 27/02/2006. Now the Dasha period lords, which was running on the date of 27/2/2006, they are Rahu, Jupiter, Ketu, Mercury, and finally on 26th it is Ketu. Rahu we have already studied. Now a Dasha Lord, to give the event of marriage, either it has to be neutral or it has to be positive. So Rahu we have already studied. Rahu is giving us a strong linkage of 5, 7 and 11. Thereby it promises marriage. Jupiter, the Bhukti Lord, we have studied. Jupiter, now what is important is, while studying the event of marriage, the Bhukti Lord is very, very important. What do I mean by saying that? The Bhukti Lord is very, very important. It is, the Bhukti Lord should be a co-ruler of the 7th cusp, or should be strongly linked to the 7th cusp. Now here Jupiter is a co-ruler of 7th cusp. It is a sub-sublord of the 7th. Jupiter is there in 5, Jupiter is there in 7, and Jupiter through Mercury is there in 11, and then finally through Mars, Jupiter is Mars is not in 5, Mars is not in 7, Mars is there
11,
in
sir.
11. It is in
11.
11. It is in 11. So Jupiter qualifies to be a Bhukti Lord that can enact the event of marriage. Okay. Now let us check Ketu. Now Ketu here in this chart, it has a PS. It is posited in 2nd house, which is 8th to the 7th house. Means marriage can happen, but it should be a delayed marriage. 1 point. Secondly, now if we check the significations of Jupiter, the Ketu, Ketu is in Moon star, Ketu is in, or I can say Ketu is in Ketu star, Ketu is in Moon star, Saturn sub and Venus sub sub. Moon is giving us 7, Saturn is giving us 7. So involvement of 7, commitment through 7, and then Venus is giving us 5. Venus is giving us 5, and at the same time is a sublord of 7. So this means that Ketu also qualifies to give marriage, right? So this event will be up to 3/3/2006. Now here, though Ketu through Moon, Saturn and Venus qualifies to give the event, but if you look at Ketu is not a significator of, it is significator of 5, it is there. I think while writing down, I did some mistake. So Ketu qualifies to give us marriage. Ketu is in 5. Ketu is not in 7. Ketu is in 11. 5 and 11. 5 and 11 is here. Five and 11 is here. Okay. Then through moon, 7 is here. 7 is here. Then to Saturn. Now here, Ketu will not see here. Now I just missed one point over here. Ketu here through moon, through Saturn and Venus qualifies to give. It gives the promise of marriage. But at the same time, if you look at Saturn, Saturn is a cuspal co-ruler, sub-lord of 6th cusp. So involvement of the commitment, at commitment level, the involvement of 6th cusp would mean that Ketu cannot enact the event of marriage. Ketu cannot enact the event of marriage. Is it clear, please? Now for 6th cusp, if you have a look at the 6th cusp, Saturn is there, Venus is there. So there is a commitment at commitment level. 6th is strongly involved, and then it is finally confirmed by Venus, which is also involved in the 6th cusp. Thereby, Ketu will not act as the Antara Lord in this case. Is this point clear, please? I just repeated what I said. See here, if you look at Ketu, Ketu has a PS posited in 2nd cusp, which is 8th to the 7th, means that the marriage is likely to happen, but it would be a delayed marriage. Secondly, Ketu here, either you can say Ketu in Ketu star. And now if I take the case of, because Ketu has PS, then Ketu is present in 5th, Ketu is present in 11th. And if I look at Saturn, Saturn is there in 7th. So there is a promise of, there is involvement of 5 and 11, promise through 7. It means there is a strong promise, commitment through 7. It means there is a strong promise for marriage. And then you have the final confirmation through Venus, which is present in 5th cusp. But here, I am not considering Ketu to be an appropriate Antara. What is the reason for it? Why I am doing so? Why I am omitting Ketu as an Antara? The logic behind it is, now if you look at Ketu here at the sub-level, Saturn is there, Saturn is acting as the sub-lord, and the sub-lord is the 6th sub-lord. So 6th house to the 7th is 12th to 7. It means it would negate the marriage. Either it will delay the marriage, or Ketu cannot be regarded as a suitable Antara. And at the same time, if I look at the final confirmation through Venus, then Venus is also acting as a star lord of the 6th cusp. Thereby, there is a involvement in, there is a, say, promise of 6th, and then there is a final confirmation of the 6th, which means that Ketu cannot be taken as a suitable Antara to enact the event of marriage.
In addition to that, sir, Venus is the resident of 6th cusp. Venus is
yes. It is virtual sub-lord of 6.
Virtual sub-lord. He has positional status also.
Yes, what did you say?
PS.
Yeah. It's one and the same thing. Venus is involved as the star lord, and Venus is also occupying the sixth position is a virtual subsublot, thereby, say the promise of six, final confirmation by six, and both at a very strong level, sub level. One is subsublot and the other one is virtual subsublot. Thereby, Ketu cannot be taken as the suitable antra for the marriage. Right?
Okay.
So, now if Ketu is not the suitable antra, then we have to look at the next antra, that among all these antras which are likely to be the one, So, if I now proceed on to next one, Venus. Venus, I already pointed out that Venus is negating the event of marriage because it is posted in 6. Thereby, Venus is also not selected as the suitable antra. Then it is Sun. If you look at Sun, now Sun is giving us 11. Sun is present as 7th subsublot, 11th subsublot. Sun has no PS, though it is posted in 7. Sun through its star lord Rahu is not there in 5, Rahu is not there in 7, Rahu is not there in 11. But if Rahu is represented by Jupiter, so Jupiter is in 7, it is in 5, it is in 7. Then if you look at Ketu, it is in 5, it is in 11. So Sun qualifies. Then the subsublot of Sun is Jupiter, that also qualifies. So then Sun could have been selected as a suitable antra, but we are not doing it. Can anybody tell it why Sun is not being taken as a suitable antra for this marriage? See, Sun is qualifying here to give the event of marriage through Rahu, Ketu and Jupiter, and yet I am not taking Sun to be the suitable antra. Can anybody tell why it is so?
Sun sublord is Ketu, that's why, sir.
Yes.
Ketu is negative.
Yes, that is the point. The Sun sublord is Ketu, and Ketu is strongly negating the event of marriage because Ketu through its sublord and sub-sublord. So Ketu, is negative because Ketu is represented by Mercury and Moon. Okay, Ketu is in 2 and 11. 2 and 11. Moon, it is in 7. Now here we have to look at the negations. So since Sun is in the sub of Ketu and Ketu is not a favorable planet to enact the event of marriage, thereby we omit Sun also. Is it clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? No. So the next one is Moon. Now Moon, can we select Moon as the suitable antra?
No, sir.
Moon is
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Moon subsublord Ketu, that's why.
Moon subsublord is Ketu.
And the Jupiter also having the sixth sixth signification.
No. Moon's subsublord is Ketu. Ketu is giving us 5 and 11. Ketu is giving us 10 also. 5 and 11. Sun we have rejected because it is in Ketu sub. Right? And Ketu is 5 and 11. And Ketu is Mercury and Moon. Mercury is 11. Mercury is, see, look here. If we look at the significations of Ketu, then Ketu represents Mercury and Moon. Ketu is 5th star lord, 11th sub lord, right? Both are favorable cusps. A2 is present in 10th as a sub lord. It is an unfavorable cusp. 4th to the 7th cusp, 70% bad, means delay in marriage. Then Ketu represents Mercury. If you look at the cuspal positions of Mercury, Mercury is in second house, Mercury is in fourth house, Mercury is in sixth house, Mercury is in eighth house. Chalo, eighth house is not a bad house. And then Mercury is in 11th house and Mercury is in 12th house, right? If you look at Moon, Ketu represents Moon, and Moon here, that is in seventh house, and Moon is in ascendant seventh house. So Moon is not giving any negative cuspal positions. So it is in positive cuspal positions. Now, if you read the planet Ketu, then it has to be read like Ketu, Mercury, and Moon. Ketu, we have to write down 5 and 11 and 10. So 10 is a negative cusp. Mercury, we have to write down as 2, 4, 6, 8, 11, and 12. So the negations, if you look at the negative houses, it is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. They are all negative houses. They are all negative houses. Is it clear, please? And Mercury is not giving us any negation. Thereby, Ketu is a very, very weak planet to enact the event of marriage. Right? Now, so Ketu we rejected, Venus we rejected, Sun we have rejected because it is in Ketu sub, and Moon should we accept or should we reject it? Here also it is in the sub of Ketu. Now here the problem is that whatever analysis has been done, that has been done through the ruling planets. Okay? The analysis of this chart was done through ruling planets. And if you look at the ruling planets, you know that Moon is acting as a suitable antra for that. Now we have to see that why Moon should act as a suitable antra. Rahu and Jupiter are giving a strong promise for the marriage. Ketu is definitely signifying the negative cusp. But in the ruling planets, they have selected Moon as the antra because Moon was appearing as a strong ruling planet for the event. Murthy ji,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
now here there will be a problem. Because the problem is that in the chart of analysis, Moon was taken as one of the strong ruling planets on that day. Since Moon was the ruling planet, so they selected Moon. Now here if we look at the chart without the use of ruling planets, then Moon is in Rahu star, it is in Jupiter sub, and it is in Ketu sub. Ketu is weak planet. Oh, okay, I got it now. How we can select Moon? Now let us come back to it, please. Now we are selecting Moon as the Moon as the antra lord without the use of ruling planets. Look here, Rahu and Jupiter. If you look at Jupiter is not giving us any negative cuspal positions. Rahu is Jupiter and Saturn. It is only Saturn which is giving us a 6th cuspal position, right? Saturn is involved in 6, involved in 7, involved in 4th, and then you have Saturn in 8, and there is Saturn in 12.
12.
Saturn in 12. So the involvement is of so many cusps, but Jupiter is not involved in any negative cuspal position. Jupiter is sixth sign lord, which is a very, very weak position. Jupiter is seventh sub-lord. It is fifth sub-lord, and then it is 12th star lord, which is again a very weak position. So, in a way, Jupiter is not giving any commitment for negative cuspal positions. Though Rahu through Saturn is involving 6, Rahu through Saturn is involving 6, it is involving 12, yet, so the involvement of 6 and 12 is there. But there is no commitment through Jupiter for the 6th and the 12th cuspal positions, because Jupiter here is in 6th sign lord and it is
Weak
12th. Very, very weak. It is
weak.
very, very weak. Yeah, it is very, very weak. It is very, very weak.
Mm.
That is why, Moon, Ketu, though it is giving us negative cuspal positions, it will enact the marriage act, it will enact the event of marriage. Murthy ji,
Sir, sir,
can you explain it in your own words?
sir.
See, the position here is, Murthy ji, the reason for selecting Moon as the Antra here is because Rahu and Jupiter are strongly giving the promise of marriage. Okay, Ketu is negating. It is a weak planet. Yet at the same time, since there is no commitment, no strong commitment for 6 and 12, right? Now, secondly, what is important here? 6 and 12 will come into action only after the marriage has happened. Before the marriage, the role of 6 and 12 is nothing.
6 and 12 is very weak, sir, when compared to 5 and 7.
Yes, that is one way to explain it.
When compared to 5 and 7, 6 and 12 are very weak.
They are very, very weak. Now, at the same time, when you involve negative cuspal positions, then the negative cuspal positions of 4, 6, 10, 12, they will come into action only when marriage has happened. Now let me elaborate this point. Let me clear out this point. Look here, we have already discussed in the starting that if 5, 7 and 11 are involved, then along with 5, 7 and 11, you have negative cuspal positions 4, 6, 10 and 12. Then in such cases, the event of marriage is likely to happen, but it would be a delayed marriage. Right? Is it clear, please? Okay, so it will be a delayed marriage. So you cannot deny marriage. Now, a marriage will be denied only if the star lord, the sub lord, is not giving any involvement of 5, 7, and 11, and they are giving only negative cuspal positions of 4, 6, 10, and 12. Then in such cases only the marriage is denied. Okay, then in such cases, such an planet happens to be a very, very weak planet to enact the event of marriage. Clear, sir? Is it okay? Murthy ji, everybody is silent. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any doubt? Any
Yes,
doubt?
sir,
Any
sir.
doubt?
For the getting the marriage, there is no problem, sir. The quality of the marriage, for the
there is
getting the marriage, there is no problem.
There is no problem. Now look here.
Yes, sir.
Any planet is strong or weak. How will we know what is the potential of a planet? So first of all, we have to read the potential of a planet through the promise of the planet. And in the promise of the planet, if, say, involvement at the involvement level, any number of cuspal positions may involve. Okay. Now these cuspal positions would come into action only if there is a commitment through the sublord. And if the sublord does not commit, then those negative cusps which are present at the involvement level will never come into action. Is this point okay?
Yes, sir.
Try to understand this point.
Yes, sir, it is correct, sir. What you said is correct.
No, that is what I am telling, because there is no answer, that's why I was just suspecting have they followed or not. See,
In involvement, there may be so many houses.
there may be so many houses. Yes, unless and until there is a commitment of those cusps, right? Then all those negative positions will never come into action.
Sublord will qualify.
Yes, they will not come into action. And apart from this, another important point which you need to keep in mind is that Rahu has got no positional status.
Yes.
Though at sublord level it is giving us number of negative positions, yet at the same time, since the sublord is not confirming to those negative cuspal positions, thereby all those negative cuspal positions will not come into action. It means at the promise you have no negative cuspal position. At the promise level, except the involvement, there is no commitment, and as there is no commitment, thereby at the sub level, even if you are getting negative cusp, that planet will be good enough to let the event happen. So that is why moon is being taken as the antara lord over here.
Sir, moon is in the sub of Ketu. Of course, he is signifying all 12 houses.
Yes.
How can we say? So we have to judge only through Jupiter.
Yes. Very true. See, Ketu here, if you look at Ketu, Ketu is Mercury and Moon. Ketu is giving us which cuspal positions? Ketu is giving us 5, Ketu is giving us 10, Ketu is giving us 11. Okay, Ketu is not present in any other cuspal position. If you look at Mercury is giving us all cuspal positions. 1 is there, 2 is there, 4 is there, 6 is there, 8 is there, and then you have after 8, 11 is there and 12 is there. Okay, and if you look at moon is not giving out any negative cuspal position. So it means that all negative cuspal positions are involved at the sub level, right?
All the 12 cusps are indicated there.
Yes.
Sub level.
Yes.
So we have to judge at the stage of sublord level. Commitment.
Yes. Correct. Very true. And since it is not there,
giving a negative houses also, sir.
Which negative house?
Moon is giving Rahu involvement 4-6.
అది కాదమ్మా, సార్ చెప్పే మీకు అర్థం కాలే. మూన్ రాహు ఇన్వాల్వ్మెంట్ లో ఉన్నాడు. ఇన్వాల్వ్మెంట్ లో ఉన్నప్పుడు నంబర్ ఆఫ్ హౌసెస్ ఉంటాయి, కానీ అక్కడ మనకు కావాల్సింది మ్యారేజ్ కావాల్సిన హౌసెస్ తీసుకోవాలంటే. తర్వాత ఫైనల్ కన్ఫర్మేషన్ లో కేతు 12 హౌసెస్ వచ్చినాయి, కాబట్టి మనం ఎంతసేపు ఉన్నాయి ఇక్కడ క్వాలిఫై చేయాల్సింది ఎవరు? సబ్లాడ్ లెవెల్లోనే ఫిల్టర్ చేయాలా, ఫైనల్ దాంట్లో పోవాలి.
మరి ఇప్పుడు సన్ లెవెల్లో కూడా కేతుని తీసుకోవచ్చు కదా సార్? సన్ లో కూడా
12 వచ్చేసినాయి కదండి అక్కడ.
అదే అంటున్నా, తీసుకోవచ్చు కదా సార్ మరి అప్పుడు?
సార్ మూన్ లో కూడా ఉంది సార్, మూన్ లో కూడా 6, 8, 12 ఉంది కదా సబ్లాడ్.
మళ్ళా మీరు మొదటికి వస్తే అలా
అంటే మెయిన్ సిగ్నిఫికేషన్స్ వస్తే చాలంటారా?
మూన్ కమిట్మెంట్ లెవెల్ 6, 8, 12 ఉంది కదా సార్.
అసలు నెగేషన్ హౌసెస్ రాలేదని చెప్తున్నారు కదా సార్. ఇన్వాల్వ్మెంట్ లో వచ్చింది జూపిటర్ లెవెల్లో కూడా.
మీరు సబ్ ఆఫ్ జూపిటర్ కు 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 ఉన్నాయి అక్కడ. కానీ 6, 8, 12 కంటే కూడా 5, 7 స్ట్రాంగ్ కాదా? మీరు అది మర్చిపోతున్నారే. స్ట్రాంగ్
అవును సార్, 5, 7 దానిలో కూడా వచ్చింది కదా సార్.
సన్ లో కూడా 5, 7 ఉంది సార్, సన్ లో కూడా 5, 7 ఉంది కదా.
సబ్లాడ్ స్ట్రాంగర్ దాన్ స్ట్రాంగర్, తర్వాత సబ్లాడ్, తర్వాత స్టార్లాడ్, తర్వాత ఫైన్లాడ్. అట్లా తీసుకోవాలి.
అది అర్థమైంది. ఇప్పుడు సార్ సన్ స్టార్ లార్డ్ రాహునే, సబ్లాడ్ కేతు, సబ్లాడ్ జూపిటర్, ఆ మూడిటికి కూడా స్ట్రాంగ్ ఉంది కదా 5, 7, 11.
అలా కాదండి, ఇక్కడ మీకు దెబ్బతినింది కదా ఇక్కడ కేతు అనే
సార్. అలాగనుకుంటే మూన్ కూడా దెబ్బతిన్నది సార్, మూన్ కూడా దెబ్బతిన్నదే.
ఏం చేయలేం మనం. సరే సరే కానీ క్యారియన్ సార్.
हाँ जी सर. नहीं sir,
మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడదాంలే.
sir, look here, the question was about K2. K2 is representing Mercury and Moon. Okay, so what we'll do, we will write down all the cuspal positions of K2 first, right? So cuspal positions of K2, they are 5, they are 10, and they are 11. That's all. Only 3 cuspal positions we have here. K2 has got PS, so it is posited in second house. We will write down 2 also. Okay, so it is 2, it is 5, it is 10, and it is 11. So these are cuspal positions. Out of these cuspal positions, 10 and 2, they are negative cuspal positions. Okay, and then K2 represents Mercury. Mercury is in 1, Mercury is in 2, Mercury is in 4, Mercury is in 6, Mercury is in 8, Mercury is in 11, and Mercury is in 12. And if you look at Mercury in 11th position, it's at a very, very weak position. It is sign lord of 11th cusp. Okay, so then if you write down the positions of Moon, Moon is in first cusp, sign lord of the sign lord of first cusp. Then apart from this, Moon is in 7th cusp. Moon has got no position status. It is present in 7th position. It is in 7th cusp. Moon is in 9th cusp. Then Moon is not present in any other cuspal position. So Moon is not giving any negation to the event of marriage. It is not giving any negative cusp over here. Now if we sum up K2, then K2 is giving us 5 and 11, right? K2 is only giving us 5 and 11, and Mercury is giving us 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 11, and 12, right? So among these, the only positive position that we have with us is Mercury is giving us 11, that too at its sign lord level. So if you look at the significations of K2, K2 will give us 2, it will give us 11. 2C, that is star lord, and 2B, that is sublord. Right? So it is 2C at the
Yes,
star
sir.
lord
Yes, sir. Now
and
understand.
11th. Okay. Now look here. So it means K2 is only giving us 2 relevant cuspal positions, which are 5 and 11. Is it fine, please? Then it is not linked to 7 in any case. And if you look at the negative positions, then all negative positions are given by K2. It is 2, it is 4, it is 6, it is 8, you leave 8, it is 10, and it is 12. Is it clear? So then, only 2 cuspal positions, favorable positions, and all remaining positions, they are negative cuspal positions that we are getting in the case of K2. That is one point. Now the second point here, when we are talking about that why Moon is selected as the Antara Lord. Now Antara Lord does not, may or may not necessarily connect to the 7th. It may or may not be co-ruler of the 7th cusp. It may be present only in the supporting cusp. So Moon is selected here as the Antara Lord. The reason is because through Rahu and Jupiter, Rahu is giving us, though it is giving us negative cuspal positions, Jupiter is not giving us any strong negative cuspal positions. Thereby, there is a strong promise through Moon to give the event of marriage. And then at the sub level, since you are getting 5 and 7 at the sublord level, thereby presence at the sublord level is good enough. Present at the sublord level is good enough, to enact the event of marriage. So that is why Moon is selected over here. In spite of the presence of negative cuspal positions at the sub-sublord level, had there been strong negative or unfavorable cuspal positions at the sublord level, and then the final confirmation through Ketu for all those cuspal positions, then Moon would not have been selected as the suitable Antara. Now, is this point clear?
Yes, sir, it is clear. Actually,
Now, is it clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Any doubt? Because we need to clarify this point.
there's
Any
no
doubt?
doubt, sir. It is clear. The only mistake I think probably that is happening is we are not writing the script correctly. If we write the script correctly, we will
Yes.
understand.
Yes. Yes. That is the point. That is the point. Now, in future, now what I'll do is I'll make all these slides and then I'll show all these slides so that you can have an idea, giving us all cuspal positions. That would be, it would be easy that way to
Actually,
explain.
sir, if you open the notebook, the top one, we can actually make it.
Okay. Okay. Right. So this was about the Antra Lord. Antra Lord. Now, after selecting the Antra Lord, the next point is we have to select the Sukshma Lord. What is important about the Sukshma Lord and Prana Lord is that the Sukshma Lord and the Prana Lord should be cuspal co-rulers of the primary cusp. That is one important point. Now the Sukshma Lord and the Prana Lord, they should be cuspal co-rulers of the primary cusp. Prana Lord particularly should also be linked to the supporting cusp, and then at the same time the Sukshma Lord and the Prana Lord should not be associated with the negative cuspal positions. Then such planets which are strongly linked to the primary cusp, that is one, and not linked to the negative cuspal positions, that is another point, they can suitably act as the Sukshma Lord and the Prana Lord. Okay, now another simple way how to know this is, what you do is, you write the script of all the planets, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. Okay, write down their star lords and sublords. Write down the cuspal positions of their star lords and sublord, and then see that these two sum up as, suppose Rahu gives us 5, Ketu gives us 7 and 11. So the script for the Sun would be 5, 7 and 11. Similarly, Rahu gives us 5, Jupiter gives us 7. So the script for this planet will be 5 and 7. No 11 is there. You get my point? This is how you write down the script. Write down the star lord and the sublord, put down the cuspal positions of the star lord, put down the cuspal positions of the sublord, and then add all these cuspal positions. You will write down the promise for all these 9 planets starting from Sun right up to Ketu. Then in all such planets where you write down their promises, all planets which are giving us a promise of 5, 7 and 11, they would act as Sukshma Lords and Prana Lords, provided that the planets are not present in negative cuspal positions, or they are not acting as sublord or sub-sublord of the 6th cusp. Say for example, if I am writing the script of Saturn, or if I am writing the script of Mercury, you look here, Mercury is giving us Jupiter. Jupiter is present in 5 and 7. Jupiter is 5 and 7, and then you have Rahu. Rahu is not present in 5, 7 and 11. Rahu through Jupiter is giving us 5 and 7. So we have already written 5 and 7. And then you have Saturn. Rahu is Saturn and Sun. Saturn is giving us, Saturn is...
Sir, actually what is happening is there are so many cursors flashing.
Okay,
it's actually becoming difficult.
Let me remove the background.
Please.
Let me remove the background. So how to remove this background? I don't know. My son put it up. I don't know how to remove this background.
I think you...
Right click?
No.
Right click?
Sir, in the 3 dots, I think it is there.
These 3 dots. More options?
Yeah, I think so.
Change the layout?
Change, not change. Apply visi something is there.
Open picture and visual effects, turn on captions, report, abuse, toggle settings, full screen. Change?
Apply visual effects. Click that.
Apply, okay. Visual effects. Then, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No backgrounds.
No backgrounds. That's all.
Okay, is this fine now?
Yes, sir. Very much.
Okay, so now should I share the chart?
Start presentation, it will stop. So all flashing will stop.
Okay, now is it okay?
Yes, sir. It's very much okay.
Okay, so what I was telling here is that how you know the
Sir,
how to know the Sukshma and Prana. Yes, what did you say?
sir,
Ji,
also on the top next to that golden colored disc, there is that small little icon. You can
which
click
one? Yeah, this one.
on the True Astrology page, sir.
Okay.
You have to go to the True Astrology page.
Yes. What should I do?
Sir, next to that golden disc on the ribbon,
Yeah, golden disc on the ribbon. Yes.
next to left side of it, other side.
This way.
Yeah, that one. You click that, sir.
The marks on notepad.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay.
You just click it, sir. We can type it out actually.
Okay, okay. I know that. I know that I can do it. Yeah. Okay, okay.
It will become very clear for whoever is watching.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
The result for this marriage that I calculated is 1st of October 2006. Okay. Now here, what I was pointing out was that how do I know that which planet can act as a Sukshma Lord or which planet can act as a Prana Lord? So what I do is I write the first planet, Sun here. Right? And Sun, you know, is in the star of Rahu, and then it is in the sub of Ketu. Okay. Now, Rahu is giving us, it is not present in 2, it is not present in 5, it is not present in 11. Rahu represents what? Rahu represents Jupiter and Saturn. Okay. And similarly, Ketu represents
Mercury and Moon.
Mercury and Moon. Now, what I will do is, Rahu is not giving me 2, 5, 11. Jupiter is giving me 5, 11, 5 and 7. It
5,
is not
7.
present in 11. Okay, so I'll put down 5 and 7 over here. Then if I look at Saturn, Saturn is giving us 7, 7 only. Am I right?
Yes.
So 5 and 7 are there. What about K2? K2 is giving me
5 and 11.
5 and 11.
Yes.
Right? And Mercury is giving 11 only. And
11
then
only.
Moon giving us 7. Am I right? Now
Yes,
if I
Yes, sir.
sum it up, then you find here the Sun is giving me a promise of 5, 7 and 11. So it is 5, 7 and 11.
this is
Is
the
it
correct
clear?
way of making the scripts.
Yeah. So in this way, what we have to do is we have to write down the script of all the planets. Similarly, you do it for Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. Okay, and then you just see that what is the total script of the promise. It is 5, 7, and 11. So all planets which are giving us 5, 7, and 11, they can act as Sukshma Lords and the Prana Lords. Right? Subject to condition that the planet should not be present in the negative cusp. Now here Ketu is present in negative cusp. Negative cusp.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, Saturn is also present in negative cusp, like Saturn is present in 6 here.
Correct.
Okay, so then Saturn is giving us 6 very strongly, right? Saturn is 6 sub lord, giving us 6 very strongly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
नहीं 7 में तो we are not concerned. We have already written on the script that they are giving us 5, 7 and 11. along with this Saturn is giving us 6. When you look at Ketu, Ketu through Mercury is giving us 2, giving us 4, giving us 6, giving us 12, right? So then all negative cuspal positions, they are involved. Okay, Ketu is giving us 10.
That's correct.
Fine. So 2, 4, 6, 10 and 12, all negative cuspal positions are there. Since all negative cuspal positions are there, in spite of giving 5, 7 and 11, Sun cannot be selected as a Sukshma Lord or cannot be selected as a Prana Lord. Now this is one simple method, one simple way. This is how I analyze, how I do the analysis and how I analyze. And it is the best method to know that which among all these planets can act as a Sukshma Lord or as a Prana Lord. Is this point clear, please?
Yes.
So, writing down the script of all the planets in a similar manner, you can know. And when you write down the script of all these planets, you will find that there are hardly 2 or 3 planets left which can act as Sukshma Lord or which can act as Prana Lord. Is it okay, please? Now here, after selection of the Yantra Lord, we are to select the suitable Sukshma. Moon. Can you take Moon as the suitable Sukshma? The answer is no. Though Moon is giving us a script of Moon will be giving us a script of 5, 7, and 11. Yet at the same time, since it gives the involvement of 6 cuspal position, it will never act as a Sukshma Lord. Okay. Now, second important point that you need to keep in mind is that which planet can be a suitable Sukshma or can be a suitable Prana. Now here, focus on the 7th cuspal position. Focus on the 7th cusp co-rulers. If you look at the 7th cusp co-rulers, then the 7th cusp co-rulers, the 7th cusp co-rulers. Now the 7th cusp co-rulers, they are Saturn, Moon, Venus and Jupiter. Saturn, Moon, Venus and Jupiter. Okay. Now, one among these, out of Saturn, Moon, Venus and Jupiter, one among these can act as the Sukshma Lord or the Prana Lord. Apart from this, after writing the script of all the planets, we have to see that which will be a suitable Sukshma. Now if you look here, just by ignoring everything else, if you look here, Saturn, Moon, Venus and Jupiter. Now when you proceed for the selection of the Sukshma Lords, we have to proceed in a sequential manner, starting from Moon, because Moon will be in Moon Sukshma, then in Mars, then Rahu, then Jupiter, then Saturn, then Mercury, Ketu, Venus and Sun. Now can you assess here? Can you find here that which can be a suitable Sukshma? Without bothering much about the script of the planets, can you find here which can be a suitable Sukshma? Can anybody tell which can be a suitable Sukshma? Jupiter. Why Jupiter? Because it's a 7th sub-lord.
Yes, Jupiter.
First point. Okay.
5th and 7th. 5th and 7th.
5th and 7th. The most important point is that the Sukshma Lord has to be linked to the primary cusp, and the primary cusp is 7. Either Jupiter should be a co-ruler of the 7th cusp or should have been posited in the 7th cusp. So Jupiter is a suitable Sukshma. Okay.
Yes.
Even if you write down the script of Jupiter, Jupiter is in Jupiter and Mercury. So Jupiter will give us 5 and 7. Mercury is giving us 11. So 5, 7, 11. 5, 7, 11 is there. 5, 7, 11 is there. Right?
Correct.
Is it okay? And then Jupiter is a strong, cuspal co-ruler of 7th cusp. It's a sub-lord of 7th cusp. Thereby, Jupiter is the suitable Sukshma for this event of marriage.
Correct.
Now, after the selection of Jupiter, again Jupiter will be a suitable planet to act as the prana lord. Is this clear, please?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is this
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Right? Murthy ji,
ఓకే సార్
sir, for selection of Sukshma and Prana, what is important is the Kaspal Koruros of the seventh cusp.
ఎస్
Right? Secondly, we have to write down the script of all the planets to find it out. If 5, 7, and 11 are given by which planets? Okay, and here's I have selected Jupiter as the uh, probable Sukshma for this event of marriage because Jupiter is seventh Kaspal Lord. Jupiter is very strong, Venus is very strong. Venus is very strong. Now, had Jupiter been not there, I would have selected Venus. So, Jupiter is the Sukshma Lord, as Jupiter is very, very strong and is seventh Kaspal co-lord. Apart from this, it is posited in third house. Third house, again, that is a very good position because third third house from the seventh house is ninth house.
ఫేవరబుల్
No, third house from the seventh house is seventh position, eighth and ninth. Jupiter is ninth from the seventh house. Jupiter is in third cuspal position, which is ninth to the seventh house, and this cuspal position is very, very good. 1, 5, 9 are such cuspal positions which give 100% results.
వన్
So,
ఫైవ్
1, 5, 9, 100% results.
నెక్స్ట్
100% results you are likely to get if you
next
have planets linked in 1, 5, and 9. And if the planets are, say, they are linked to, suppose अब या तो third है ना, if it is linked to fifth, then fifth is 11 to 7. 11 to 7 means what? It will 11 to 7 is what? It is favoring the seventh cusp. 11 to 7th is favoring the seventh cusp. It is helping in the happening of the event. That is important. 11 to 7. See, what did I say? For Lagna based event, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 are important cuspal positions. Okay. Now 3, 5, 7, 9, 1, 5, and 9. If you look at 1, 5, and 9, 1, 5, 9 will give us 100% results. 1, 5, and 9, they are likely to give us 100% results. 1, 5, 9 position, 100% results, positive results we are likely to get. Then 3 and 11. 3 and 11 cuspal positions will give us 200% results. Why they are giving us 200% results? Because they are developing the seventh cusp. And now this is again one of the important points which you always need to keep in mind. Should I repeat again? See here, let me write it down. I said that for Lagna based event, important cuspal positions or links are 3. I'm sorry, I have to write down 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 positions. If I classify these positions, then 1, 5, and 9, they are 100% Positive.
Sir, with respect to 7th house.
With respect to 7th house. I'm talking about the 7th house. Then 3 and 11. They are 200% positive.
They also with respect to 7th house, sir.
With respect to 7th house. Why it is so? Now the third house is the third house. You know, why I'm saying, because they have capacity to develop the 7th house. Okay. Now, by saying that, what do I mean? From 7th house, the 5th house is 11th position. Am I right? And from 7th house, the 9th house is 3rd position. The 9th cusp, linkage of 7th with the 9th cusp is multiplying this effect. And linkage of this cusp with the 5th cusp, that is 11th to the 7th, is fulfilling the promise for the cusp. So that is why I said, if you look at these two houses, 5 and 9, they are in Trikona with the ascendant. 1, 5, 9 are always good positions. Is it clear or not? Everybody is silent. I am unable to get it whether you are getting this point or not.
It's very clear. It's very clear.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
3rd to 11th, 9th house. 3rd to 11th, 9th. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Madam, మీ మైక్ కొంచెం దూరం పెట్టుకుంటారా?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is all what I wanted to point out. Now here, Jupiter is selected as the Sukshma Lord. Since this is a strong Sukshma, it is also selected as the Prana Lord, and accordingly, the marriage should happen from 1st 10/2006, 3:47 at the night, to 10/10/2006, 21:33. So the tentative date is that it should happen. So the marriage should happen between the 1st and the 2nd of October 2006. Jupiter starts from on 1st. It is 1st October 2006, 3:47, and then Jupiter Prana ends on 2nd at 10:57 in the morning. Is it okay? So इसका मतलब है, what does it mean that the marriage has happened
First night.
First night on the night of 1st of October. And if I did calculate the result. So result is the 1st of October 2006. Now similarly, we can calculate it by looking at the transit. So the date is 27/02/2006, and timing is 20:55:00:00, and calculate. Okay, is it clear, please? Now should I proceed further?
Yes, sir, it's very clear.
Now what we have discussed so far, Rahu is okay as Dasha Lord, Jupiter is okay as Bhukti Lord, but Ketu cannot act as Antara Lord, right? Now if Ketu is not to act as Antara Lord, then what we need to do is we need to proceed forward.
Correct.
I put here advancement by 1 day, and then without looking into what is given over here, what I am doing is I am simply focusing over here because Ketu cannot be the Antara Lord, so I need to change the Antara. and we have already calculated, then the Antara Lord is moon. So I'll keep on forwarding it till I get moon.
Correct.
Right? So let me advance it by
10
1
days.
week. 1 week. Because Venus Antara will stay for a longer period of time. Now we get Sun. Sun cannot be taken as the Antara Lord.
Yes, we cannot.
We cannot. So we have to change it also. We get Moon.
Correct.
Sun, 1 week time. And now I'll shift it to 1 day. One day. And then now I'll 1 hour. Moon is there. So now I will change the time by 10 minutes. Okay. I will change it by 1 minute. Moon is here. So I get the Antara of Moon on 9/9/2006, 2027. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Now Moon Antara,
Jupiter Sukshma is
Jupiter Sukshma is there. I cannot select Moon as the Sukshma Lord. And also if you look over here, Jupiter is in Ketu Sub. In transit, if Ketu is giving us negative significations, then we cannot select Ketu as a suitable sub-lord to enact the event. Okay, this is, you can either check it from here or you do it from here. Now, for the purpose of marriage, we will have to look into the transit of Sun, transit of Moon, transit of Jupiter, and transit of Saturn. All these should be in a suitable star, suitable sub, and suitable sub-sub. And all these stars, sub and sub-sub, they should be linked to 5th or 7th or 11th cusp. Right? So here, since I'm getting here Moon Sukshma, Moon, we have already selected Jupiter as the Sukshma. So again, I will have to change it till I get Jupiter over here. One day. Mars is there, Rahu is there. Jupiter is there. Rahu. Yes, Jupiter is there. Yes. Okay. So the date that we are likely to have here is 1st of October, and the time of marriage, that is 3:48. This marriage was solemnized around 4 o'clock. Now, any questions, please? Here also you can check. Jupiter is in Venus sign, it is giving marriage. Sun is in Mercury sign, it is giving marriage. Moon is in Jupiter sign, it is giving marriage. Saturn is in Moon sign, it is giving marriage. Moon is linked to 7. Moon here linked to 7. Okay, if you study the significations of Moon, it is giving marriage, right? And then Sun is in Mercury sign. If you look at Mercury, Mercury is Jupiter Rahu. Jupiter is strongly linked to seventh cusp sub-sublord. It is also giving marriage. And then you have Saturn, it is in Moon sign. That is also okay. Jupiter in Venus sign. Venus is Sun and Jupiter, again Jupiter. So strongly enacting the event of marriage. And similarly, if you check the star lords and sublord of Sun, Moon, Jupiter and Saturn, they all satisfy the conditions for enacting the event. So this is a favorable transit where the event of marriage that has happened. So you have two different ways to calculate it. Either you just calculate a suitable sukshma and then fix it accordingly, or you move through the transit over here. Now, any questions, please? Murthy ji? Murthy ji?
हाँ सर बोलिए बोलिए.
हाँ जी sir. अब now any questions to be asked?
ఏమండి చెప్పండి మీరు ఏమైనా.
No questions, sir. Clear.
Is it clear?
Yes.
ప్రసాద్ గారు చెప్పండి.
Problem ఏం లేదు సార్, క్లియర్ గా ఉంది.
Yes, sir. It is clear. We will practice some more charts, sir.
And yeah, we will do it. We will do it. I'll be
Thanks.
meeting with. I will be meeting you regularly now. If you have questions, I'm in your group. You can put me questions. I will definitely answer them immediately as soon as you put the questions.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So, any queries, any questions, I will help you solve answers to the questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. So I'll be meeting with more classes again next time. You know, when I meet your class, we'll take another case of marriage.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Good, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Ji.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ji. Okay. Thank you very much.
Good night, sir.
Right, ji. Good
very
night.
much,
Good
sir.
night.